Yo, what's going on, everybody? Just straight out of Boston here, and today I'm back for episode number 29 of my Tampa Bay Rays Let's Play series here on Out of the Park Baseball 18. So we are back with the off-season, coming off of a disappointing year in which we missed the playoffs, year number 6. It was the first time since 2018 that we had not made the playoffs. And like I said, disappointing year, only 88 wins, so obvious improvements are needed. So heading into the offseason, Luisa Rojas with a $15 million team option. And he had Luis Rojas, yes. He has 2 years left, 2 team options. He has overall been kind of disappointing. He hasn't really. I thought he was going to be more like he was in his rookie year. And he hasn't even been. He's been a below league average hitter the last 2 years. But he's on a team-friendly contract. Like for a player with his ratings, that contract is good. So I think he's still tradable if I wanted to get rid of him. Kiermaier, kind of the same thing. He's got 1 year left. Is the difference. So maybe he sees his way off that. But it's the same thing. Like I'm gonna pick up, because what would an extension for him look like? Right around the same thing. Maybe. I have to think about it with Kiermaier. Probably explore the trade market at the very least. Sale, the only thing with him is if you could get him on an extension, but he doesn't like our manager. Wow. Okay. That's interesting. Didn't know that. So I guess we have to pick up his option then. And Seager executes his player option. Yeah, he was terrible. We're going to have to get rid of him. Luckily, we're only on the books for $4.1 million. And I'm just going to literally shop him right, like, dump him for anything possible. If I can't right off the bat, I'll just have to try and throw him into whatever trade I am trying to pull off. I'm sure I'm going to be wheeling and dealing a little bit this offseason. I definitely don't need to sort of retool this team. We have our core kind of with our rotation, but a lot of positions need to be fixed, pretty much is the best way to put it. And these are actually some half decent offers for Kyle Seager. All right, so I think I'm just going to dump him to the Mets, and it's not actually a dump because we're going to be taking on a little bit more money unless we can get them to retain some in this trade as well. But they definitely have some relievers we could pick at if they have interest in Seager, and they could definitely use a little bit. They could use an infielder. So they have big money tied up in Britton and Colomé. I didn't realize they signed Colomé. He had a good year with New York, his first year there. Britton, he has been slot as always, and then they're going to lose Will Harris to free agency. He is a beast in this game. He could be a free agent target for us, but he's going to be looking for a lot of money, I'm sure. So the guy we're going to go after then is Will Smith, because he is a lefty, and he's the guy that he was offered to us. The question is, do we want to go after someone else? Because we could possibly get... I don't know if we could get salary retained if we go after someone like Hansel Robles, but Robles has been good. 32, and he just got an extension. Iron Man, I like that. What would it take to get both of these guys? So we could give up Jose Ramirez, who it looks like his ratings have really gone south. And let's just look at him. Yeah, I guess he is the type of player we probably want to get rid of at this point. He still has 2 years left on his deal. He's going to make $11.6 million over the life of that, and he has been a below league average hitter the last 2 years. His defense is good, but he hasn't really been. He's pretty much part of the problem with the infield the last couple of years. So we're gonna. I guess this is a good trade to get rid of him. We get 2 good relievers back. The money's probably close to even at this point. Looking at what else they have Thomas Zapuki, who could be a starter. He's coming off of Tommy John, and I think you can. Okay, I don't have that enabled. I just can't do that when you're playing in challenge mode. But as for starters, I don't think they will. We don't really need to start it, but they wouldn't trade Steven Matz. Other relievers on the team: Hector Neris. All right, I'm just gonna see how much they would be willing to retain. And I'm going to target the Robles contract because he is the one with the extension. And you know what? Actually, I'm not going to do that because that is... you can be a little bit cheesy with the retained salary. It's more realistic that they would eat like a little bit of the Will Smith contract. Not a guy that... I'm just going to pay Robles. He doesn't make a lot of money anyway. That is a little bit cheeky. So, all right, we won't even do 60 on Smith. We'll just do 50. So 3.2 with the 6.4. So now our money actually improves by 2 million. So that's fine by me. We were getting rid of Seager and Ramirez as it is. And we get a couple relievers back. Seager was good in the club pass, but it's not like we played really any better with him, pretty much because he was a black hole at third base. So infield-wise, we have 2 spots on the infield up for grabs, really, with Urias. Cespedes is a free agent. Kiermaier, we don't know what we're going to do with. So a lot of spots, up for grabs. And guys we could trade. Rizzo, he makes a lot of money, but only 1 more year of guaranteed money, which is good. So possibly tradable, or worst case, we bring him back and he's the first baseman 1 more year at the very least. Bowers and Bell could be the corner outfielders. Bowers is, very capable in left field. He's fine out there. But he can DH too if we get another left fielder. But he's been, pretty much him and Bell have been just carrying our team offensively. So looking at the salary arbitration and free agent screen, Felipe Rivero is a free agent. And he's looking for about $6 million a year. So we have about $20 million available for free agents. That number always goes up when free agency actually starts. That's something I've come to realize. But and Bell is 1 year away from free agency. His ratings are still declining. He's 30 years old now. He's an Iron Man, though. I don't know what kind of... It seems like he's going to want a lot of money is the thing. I don't know if he would do, like, 13 million and then do something, like, really short term. This is, like... I don't think he would do anything like this, but it's going to be... It would have to be super team-friendly for me to give him an extension at this point. Yeah, he doesn't want to do that. Maybe... Even the $20 million, I don't know if I would guarantee for him next year based on where his ratings are going. And honestly, I think he's only been worth 3.8 and then 4.4 F4 the last 2 years. Not F4, but you know what I mean. So let's do 13.25. And what was he? He was 4.4, 4.7, 3.8 the year before that. He's been a very good hitter, and these were his prime years, like 2019. That was the first year we made the World Series. That's when and how did he do in the playoffs? Because he's been good in the postseason the last time, too, that World Series run. He wasn't even so good in the playoffs in 2019, but Anthony Santander, gonna just not even re-sign him. Richard Urena, I guess I'll bring him back. It's not even gonna take $1 million to bring him back, so why not? Feels like might as well have the infield depth. Luke Miley, I can't pronounce his name, so I'm just not gonna bring him back. Why bother? Buck Farmer wants $1 million. I think I'm gonna withdraw him because he was not good last year. We could probably sign another guy to a minor league contract or something of that nature. Zach Birdie. He has 3 years of team control left, as does Nick Birdie, who's only a 2-star overall now. I wonder what the trade market on him would be. It's been 2 unsuccessful years of him on the team, and I thought I was getting a pretty good reliever when I traded for him. It's been part of the reason why the bullpen hasn't been good. I've been leaning on some guys who just have underperformed, and Birdie's trade market is trash. So the starting pitchers are probably the 2 biggest question marks, Honeywell and De Leon. Honeywell is still 3 years away from free agency. He's probably coming off of his best year. I think it is by WAR, I would guess. Let's go to career. Whoops. Keep clicking the wrong thing. Yep, it is lowest whip, lowest walks per 9, lowest home runs per 9. Not the most strikeouts, but lowest ERA. So probably, a career year for him. And wow, he really... I mean, this is a super team-friendly extension. Honestly, I pretty much have to do this. Like, why would I not do something along these lines? Could probably even do less than this. Like, do 5, 8, 10, and then 13. And that is the 4th year. He's 27, so we could go 6 years and make the last 2 team options. And this is super... I mean, the most he's making is $13 million. It's only guaranteed for 1 year. So a very tradable contract, even if things go south with him. So that's a great contract we're locking him up to. And then Honeywell, still at this point, just the way he's looked good like in spurts, and we saw it in the playoffs 2 years ago. He was a big reason we got back to the World Series. So I'm happy to go year by year with him. He's got 2 more years of team control, so he'll probably be the 5th starter for at least 1 more season, only making $1.6 million. So, at the very least, pitching depth. Our 2 pending free agents without compensation are Cespedes and Iglesias. And I could see re-signing Iglesias. His value or his stock I would think would be low, but he thinks he's going to make $12 million, which I'm not going to pay him. And I assume Cespedes is going to want a lot of money. That's not a ton, but he has not been a good hitter, and he was not good when he came over for us. Scouts still think he's a good hitter, though. So maybe I would think of him as more of an option, like a plan B, to be honest. But he has been a good hitter. He was a good hitter at the beginning of this. Look at that. Look at those numbers. And then the decline the last 2 years has been real, but even 2 years ago he was solid. Still a 3.5 win player because he plays very good defense in left field. So we could DH Bowers. I still haven't explored the trade market for anyone really yet. So based on the offers for Rizzo and Kiermaier, who are both coming off of down years, it doesn't really seem like we're going to want to move either of those guys, quite frankly. And I guess the other guy we could trade is Luisa Rojas, but you're really only trading for Rojas. You're really only trading Rojas if you think you have another option at catcher, which we don't. And catchers are hard to come by. So he's probably a guy we're keeping. And these are pretty much the same guys that were offered to us for. And these guys have been offered to us in a lot of deals. I mean, Stan Betances is kind of, but he's old and he hasn't been good the last couple of years. Andres wouldn't be bad, but we don't need a starter. But he's been okay for the Braves the last couple of years. So it's like it doesn't really seem. It seems like we might just have to go into free agency and hope that there are guys available. I'm honestly seriously considering, and based on that, I'm seriously considering giving Cespedes a contract. He's 37, but let's see, what is his? He's fragile. I don't like that. We have a lot of fragile guys in the team. But he's an extremely hard worker. Plays a very good left field. He could probably play a very good right field for us if we were to trade Josh Bell. I guess that would be one thing we could do is like signing Cespedes and trading Bell for some sort of impact player. But then we still have a need with a corner outfield spot. But you like Cespedes because he could probably play right field. Although, I don't know, developing him as a right fielder late in his career might be. I guess Bowers could play right field. I wouldn't even really want to do that. I would only want to do that if I could edit not edit the rating, but edit his experience level in right field, because often it's just annoying how long it takes for the experience to go up for a guy playing a new position in this game if you move him to a new position. So if I don't play in challenge mode, sometimes I just edit that myself. Usually not if I'm doing a series, but if I'm playing a non-series on my own time. There have been a handful of intriguing starters offered to us, but I'm not really looking to trade any of these guys. We just got Honeyball on that extension, Snell. Sale is the one guy you think might leave, but I don't think anything. I don't know if he's tradable, really. He's been the best starter in the AL the last 5 years, pretty much. 4 years, because we got him on a 5-year deal. I so regret not getting him on a longer contract. This was the first year he didn't even lead the AL in ERA for us, but he still led it in FIP, or not FIP, but WAR. And I'm sure he probably, I guess they don't track FIP leaders. His FIP wasn't even that good last year. But he throws a lot of innings, too. Look at the innings. That's the thing with stats like that, is they are volume stats. So we have gone through the awards season. I think the only award we won was a Gold Glove, Anthony Rizzo. So as it stands right now, I am pretty much just going to head into free agency, not having re-signed Cespedes, Iglesias, or Rivero. I'm going to go in with as much money as possible and probably look to try and make an impact free agent signing. I look at the payroll fluctuation in the next year is mainly going to be Chris Sale. You're going to want to have the money to extend him if possible. And hopefully the thing with the manager works out. I'm not thinking about firing Butterfield yet, but if we get off to another slow start next year, then his job would certainly be in jeopardy, especially when you look at how that impacts the chances of you re-signing or us re-signing Chris Sale. So let's go to the salaries. This is 2023. So you want to look at the guys who are free agents after 2024, and that is Chris Sale and Kevin Kiermaier and Josh Bell. So Bell, you don't know if you're going to re-sign. I look at Sale as likely. He's pretty much just going to get, I guess, because it's a team option, Anthony Rizzo. He's going to get Rizzo's money. I imagine, yes, Snell's option gets picked up. I imagine Rojas' option gets picked up. But money is going to be coming off the books in the coming years, too. So I think we're going to have, with the way the money, and we didn't sign anyone last year, we still have that sort of salary slot available under our payroll, under our potential payroll. So the first day of free agency, let's take a look at the international free agents. And someone actually commented and said that I should turn down the frequency of these good international free agents. But I don't know, I enjoy... I think it's tough to sign good free agents with just the major league free agents in this game, so I'm fine with the occasional good international guy. This guy looks pretty good. He's looking for a decent amount of money, though. We have $28 million available for free agents, so I don't know about giving a chunk of that to that guy. We'll see. Let's look at the full list, and I see some pretty interesting names, some guys who could be good potential gets for us depending on the contract. So we have about $28 million. As I said, that number probably flexible. I imagine we could free up a little bit more if we had to. I definitely see some good relievers. Will Harris is looking for a lot of money, but Brad Hand wouldn't be a bad lefty to replace Rivero. I know we already just got Will Smith, but you want to have two lefties in there anyway. Michael Foley is also coming off of 2 good years, although he's been banged up and his injury rating is not great. Pedro Baez, really looking for like nothing. Probably give him a contract. That seems like a no-brainer. The real impact guys you look at are Paul Goldschmidt, and that would be good if you could move Rizzo, but you would have to move Rizzo because you can't play. I guess you could DH one of those guys, but both are good defensive first basemen. Cespedes still there, recovering from his injury, looking for around $15 million. And let's just look at batters because we do have an eye on position players this year. Buster Posey is available. He's coming off of another good year, and maybe now is when you can, we had the opportunity to do it last year. Maybe we do it this year. We get Posey, we trade Rojas, try to fill another need by trading Rojas for someone. Rojas, as I said, has been largely underwhelming. And I guess Posey only signed a 1-year contract last year. And even though he's coming off of a good year, his demands didn't seem to be too high. The question is, what could you get for Rojas? And the market isn't big. I feel like we could have gotten more for him last year. But the Cubs do seem to be semi-interested. They are the World Series champs. Maybe not either of these guys, but maybe someone else off this Cubs team. They certainly have a surplus of guys, it seems. This Calvin Mitchell would be awesome, but that doesn't seem likely. We'd have to give up a Josh Bell or another potential reliever. And the reason I'm not too interested in Odor is that contract he's got, and all those 4 years left are all guaranteed. So although he would be nice to have on the infield, not someone I am really looking to pick up. Part of me wonders if I could get better deals later in the off-season, but I don't know. I mean, because none of these really are salary dumps, and a lot of these are kind of bad contracts coming back, or really just guys that are overpaid, to be honest. And there is Josh Donaldson. Donaldson might be kind of the perfect guy to slot in there at third base. He plays very good defense still, and he's been a good hitter the last couple of years. The thing is, I would not want to pay him long-term dollars. So maybe that 25 number, but it's 2 years with a vesting option. And something like 500 plate appearances. He would have to play a lot. And he is good to consider that. He is also fragile, which I don't like, but he's played a lot of games the last handful of years. Oh yeah, he's played a lot of games. He's played at least 130 games every year. And he's low-key putting together a Hall of Fame career. Look at that, he's almost 60 career WAR. So we could have the last stretch of that career with his third team in the same division for at least one more year. I don't know about a last stretch, but it would be a nice kind of player to plug in there. It would cost us the compensation pick, but we could still, the thing is with the Doesn't look like we're going to be able to dump all of Rojas' contract. Rizzo is the one you really look at that you would like to possibly get rid of, but at the same time, maybe his ratings bounce back. Maybe he just bounces back. If we throw Donaldson in there, we really only have one hole in the infield, and we still kind of could use a DH, another bat. Possibly we could trade some pitching, though, for another bat. We don't really have much money left, so I guess we'd have to look at the front office, see maybe whose salary, maybe who's making a little too much money. I guess Kiermaier, but we don't really have anyone to play center field. I don't know, I think if we got Donaldson, that would pretty much be, I hate to say, but that would pretty much be the offseason. That would kind of be the one big move. We go in, we still have a couple holes, but the roster for the most part would be filled out. I mean, if you look at the bullpen, Dan DeYoung, I think, is going to be probably with the team the whole year. He was up for a good part of last year. So he'd probably be up over Lara. You have Birdie, Smith, Robles, Fisher, Zach Birdie, and Familia. And then these 5 guys. Definitely still room to improve that bullpen. Colton Hawk also could factor into that mix. Maybe possibly instead of Nick Birdie. Although I think Birdie will get a shot. So you kind of have 6 guys there. And there it is. Josh Donaldson signs on. It is a 2-year, $50 million contract. That second year is a vesting option. On the day he turns 37, December 8th, is the day he signs that contract. And he will wear 27. He should probably wear 37, for being honest. But, all right. And good leadership skills. I feel pretty good about this. Hopefully he doesn't decline too much. The scouts, like I said, still like him. But only 4 stars. Of course, these ratings fluctuate a lot in this year's game. We saw Rizzo was down to 4, and he's back down to 4. He was just at 4.5, like literally the other day. So, guys fluctuate. But I look at the team now. We have a lot of the spots filled up. Still have sort of that one infield spot kind of up for grabs. Second base, shortstop, I guess it really is, because Arias is going to be the second baseman. So I look at it, it's probably going to be Coca and Urena battling for playing time there. And let's just call Urena up right now. I don't know why he's down in AAA as it is. But, we'll be looking at the waiver wire and stuff like that for potential spots there. And then I guess Ramiro Rodriguez is likely to be the DH. I guess he'd be better in left field than Bowers, so maybe he'll play left field and Bowers will DH. But other than that, I look at the team, I look at us as in pretty good shape in most spots. So hopefully, the thing last year is it just seemed like we had like no production from a lot of our offensive spots, and we really need to avoid that this year. Some of that comes down to guys that we have on the team just hopefully performing better, like Anthony Rizzo and Luis Rojas. I think I sort of compared it to the Cubs at one point, where the Cubs have, like this year's Cubs, and I see Cespedes' ratings have started to go down, so I'm glad I didn't re-sign him. That would have been a disaster. But the Cubs are a team in real life that they didn't really switch up a lot from the team that just won the World Series last year, like roster-wise, and they just aren't as good this year because guys are not doing as well, and maybe some of that is because they played a lot of games last year. They played a 7-game World Series and all that stuff, but let's see. All right, Posey is looking for $24 million. I'm just trying to see. Rojas only makes 15, so it would take a lot. It would take even more stripping of the roster to be able to afford a guy like him. This guy, though, Miguel Amaya, he would be a great backup. But I don't know if I could get him for like $1 million. Probably not at this point. Maybe later in the offseason. Let's skip to the Rule 5 draft. All right, so it is time for the Rule 5 draft, and it did seem like there were a couple decent guys. Michael Elliott specifically, that guy looks like he's pretty good. I don't know if he's going to fall to us, and he does. So yeah, probably want to take it. I'm sure literally right as spring training rolls around, his ratings in our eyes will be a 1-star, potential 1-star overall. But why? I guess we could take a chance on him anyway. Gavin Lux, maybe. We definitely need infielders. I don't think Gavin Lux is gonna hit though. His bat does not look like a major league bat. This guy's an outfielder. We definitely have a need for an infielder, although I guess we still need that left field DH spot filled. But why not? Let's just take this Michael Elliott fellow, draft him. And I'm sure we are not going to want to pick anyone else in this. I feel like I'm not looking at pitchers. There aren't any pitchers. But I guess there just are no good pitchers in this draft. Weird. Alright. Let's complete the draft. So we got one guy who I'm sure isn't actually any good. I bet he's already like his route. Yeah, I see. Look at that. Knew it. Well, whatever. Maybe, you know, maybe he sticks. Maybe he doesn't. It's not going to be a big loss if he doesn't stick. The question is, Kyle Wright. This guy, where is he? He is not. Okay, so he hasn't pitched in the majors yet. So I'm gonna send him back down to AAA. He's one of the guys I had to add to the 40-man. So we are at the day of the Hall of Fame voting results being released. Jim Thome is a Hall of Famer, and I don't really see a reason not to skip ahead to spring training at this point because we just don't really have the funds to do anything else. Unless we wanted to make trades, but I'd rather just make trades when more teams will have money towards the beginning of the year. There are some guys here that are kind of interesting that are still around, specifically a couple catchers in Zanino and Amaya. And this guy, too, I feel like he could be a starter, perhaps? Our scouts don't really like him. For that, though, give him that contract. He's, an asset at the very least, I would think. And other potential guys... Go back to the free agent list real quick. Brad Hand, I mean, if his demands continue to lower, but I imagine he gets scooped up before the beginning of the preseason at the very least. Everyone else, Lorenzen? Michael Lorenzen. Did he start last year for the Reds? A little bit. Kind of like him. Yeah, I do like this guy for 1.3 million. I'll give you 1.3. Do that. Rather get him than a catcher. And Brad Hand would be nice, but we have at least one lefty. Do we have two lefties? We have one lefty. We have one lefty, and then we have Tyler Alexander. So I don't think... We'll go to the 23rd. I think Hand gets scooped up soon, though. So Brad Hand did get scooped up. We are a couple days ahead of the preseason meeting. I'm still waiting to hear back from Lorenzen, but I did let the international guy Ken sign with the Royals because he actually wanted the major league contract. And honestly, I didn't want to give him that. We have lots of pitching depth, especially if we get this Michael Lorenzen, who I really want. He would be the perfect guy to be the sixth starter. He could possibly come in if he could, slot into the rotation if DeLeon struggles. And I think that we just have plenty of pitching depth otherwise with guys like Kyle Wright and Miguel Lara. Fido suffers a day-to-day injury. His potential still 5 stars. Look at him, he's really starting to fill out now. That's looking like a really good trade, the one that we made. This was for him and AJ Puck. Puck has not worked out, but this was Colome, Cal Conley, Dalton Kelly, Austin Swift. Guys who haven't really turned into anything. Colome was good for... You had a really good year with Austin, but I'd say Fido is the better guy to have long-term. Puck is actually maybe turning things around. He could not get his walk rate in line with us, but seeming to do better with San Diego now. And he could still be a good starter. That was the Urias trade. We'll see how that trade works out. Romero also could. Now he's with Anaheim. He could come back to bite us. The other two guys, this guy I'm more worried about, obviously, but we'll see. So now Michael Lorenzen is looking for like $6.5 million, which we just don't have, unfortunately, but perhaps we could free it up if we got rid of... We would have to give up like Robles, which I don't really want to do. We'd have to give up like $3 million. I guess we could... Well, we need Will Smith as a lefty. Maybe if we did Thompson, and we can't do Zach Birdie though. If it was Nick Birdie, we could. It would have to be someone like Familia. Not really worth it. So that's too bad. We're gonna have to look at maybe getting someone else though to be pitching depth potentially. And I guess this guy makes the most sense. Yaisel Syria who looks like he just wants a minor league contract or minor league with major league option, 1.2. If he's not promoted 30 days, then he's granted free agency. And I assume the 1.2 does not come in unless he actually is called up. Let's make it 1.1. We'll do that. Why not? So he signs that, and I'm just going to skip ahead to the end of spring training. So it is opening day, and wow, look at this King guy. He's a top 10 prospect, apparently. Okay, if you say so. So let's look at the preseason predictions. And we are predicted to win 191 games. So that would be an improvement over last year, although last year we were predicted to win 94, I believe. So hopefully it works out a little bit better for us this year. We've got Josh Bell named here, Brent Honeywell, Faedo, Snell. No Chris Sale, though. Don't know what that's about. Sale is hurt, though. So I'm actually going to put him on the DL because he has, well, that influences is running moderately. Maybe I don't really want to get him hurt long term, but maybe we let him play through it. The guy who did just get hurt, though, is Jim Fisher, who's actually supposed to be our closer this year. He strained his triceps, and it actually influences his throwing, so I feel like that you probably don't want to mess with. We have lots of pitching depth anyway. We have two guys on waivers I could call back, or we could go with Kyle Wright or Nick Birdie. But I think I'm going to go with Tyler Alexander so that we have two lefties, assuming he does not get claimed off of waivers. And also we have Kevin Dunn, who I think is going to factor into the mix after I wait. I'm going to wait maybe like a month to call him up, and then maybe he helps Ramiro Rodriguez as the left fielder. They're both lefties, so they can't platoon, but you know, he'll get some at-bats, I would think. The big thing is going to be shortstop, figuring out shortstop. How will we plug in at shortstop? But all right, that is going to be the offseason. Let's take a look at the waiver wire real quick. And sure, I'll put some claims in on guys. There are definitely a few guys worth claiming, I would think. Maybe not Liam Hendricks, but what about, let's see, not Demurad. We put him on waivers. And maybe not. None of these guys really too interesting. That catcher, though, I'll try to get that catcher. Why not? So that's going to do it. Hope you guys did enjoy. We'll play opening day. Why not? I think I already skipped the day. And we win that game 6-4, and Tyler Alexander gets claimed. God damn it. That was a mistake. So I guess we'll have to call back someone else. We could call back Faria. Demote the rest of these guys to AAA. Could be Faria or it could be Birdie, but let's give Faria the chance. Why not? So that's going to do it. Hope you guys did enjoy this episode. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought of the offseason, the big move, obviously, Josh Donaldson. And let me know if you think we're going to be better this year. I think we are going to be, but the question is, will it be enough to get back in the playoffs? You can see Donaldson on pace for an all-time terrible season. Hopefully it's not that bad. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you did enjoy, and I'm out. Peace.